They benched him. They doubted him. They almost buried him. But now, Shedeur Sanders is one decision away from exposing everything wrong with the Browns. Most reps this offseason. That's not coach talk. That's a warning. When a QB gets the most reps, he's not competing. He's being built to start. Shedeur Sanders isn't being tested. He's being chosen. And if you've watched the NFL long enough, you know this move only means one thing. So what happens to everyone else in that QB room?
The 3 wins for Shedeur, that just ain't enough. And the 4 or 5 years of nothing from Deshaun, that just ain't enough.
Yeah.
So you don't have a clear-cut guy. So I like it, man. I think the competition is healthy. You know what I'm saying? Let them pub them up. I don't want Shedeur to come in and just think I'm the starter.
Yeah.
I don't want him to come in like that, bro. I want you to have to earn it all over again. And by the time that training camp over, you're going to feel like you earned it.
Imagine this. You're a 24-year-old quarterback. You come into the NFL as a 5th-round pick. Nobody hands you anything. You sit behind 3 other quarterbacks. You don't get a single first-team rep. You miss time with an injury, and the moment you finally get your shot, you win. You go 3-4. You close the season on a 2-game winning streak, and you prove to the entire league that you belong. And then the team that drafted you goes to the media and says, "Yeah, we're not sure you're our starter." What? That's not fiction. That's not a movie plot. That's exactly what the Cleveland Browns just did to Shedeur Sanders. And today, we're going inside this story, because what's really happening behind the scenes in Cleveland is darker, messier, and more shocking than anything the headlines are telling you. Stay with me, because this one is going to make your blood boil.
Got a coach who will fit his style of football. I think he the one who got the team behind him out of both guys. I think the team probably behind Shedeur. What it sounds like to me is full of all these young guys.
Yeah.
He is the captain of the young guys. You know what I'm saying? They finna have another draft and add a bunch of more cold young guys.
Yeah.
Shedeur is the captain of them young guys. So I think it'll be a nice, healthy competition.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, Shedeur come out victorious and he gonna be the starter. And for the $46 million, I don't think Deshaun gonna be tripping.
Let's rewind to the 2025 NFL Draft. Shedeur Sanders, son of Deion Sanders, Heisman-level talent, one of the most talked-about quarterback prospects in years, slides and slides and slides. Round 1, gone. Round 2, gone. Round 3, 4, gone. He falls all the way to pick number 144, the 5th round. The Cleveland Browns take him. Now, at the time, people said, hey, maybe Cleveland is the perfect landing spot. Fresh start, low expectations, time to develop. But here's what nobody told you. The Browns already had 4 quarterbacks ahead of him. Joe Flacco, Deshaun Watson, recovering from a ruptured Achilles, Dylan Gabriel, another 2025 rookie, and then Shedeur, dead last on the depth chart. He never got reps with the ones, not in training camp, not in preseason. A guy with his arm talent, his football IQ, his pedigree, sitting on the bench, watching, waiting, getting nothing. And then it got worse. He picked up an oblique strain in August. Just like that, whatever tiny chance he had to climb that depth chart, gone. Former NFL players who know this game have spoken about this. They said straight up, Shedeur felt like he didn't get a fair shake. He was 4th in line. He never got the number of reps needed to make a real impression. That's not a rumor. That's fact. But here's where the story turns. Week 11, Joe Flacco gets traded. Dylan Gabriel gets hurt. Suddenly, the Browns have nobody left, and the guy they'd been ignoring all season, Shedeur Sanders, gets the call. Now think about that. No real practice reps, no first-team experience, 0 preparation with the starting offense, and they throw this kid into the fire. You know what most quarterbacks do in that situation? They crumble. Shedeur Sanders, he competed. 7 starts, 3 wins, over 1,400 passing yards, and most importantly, he closed the season winning his last 2 games, back-to-back, showing growth, showing fight, showing exactly the kind of mental toughness that you cannot teach a quarterback. ESPN's own Tony Rizzo, a man who covers this team every single day, went on air and lost it. He literally jumped out of his seat and screamed, "How in the hell is Shedeur not the starting quarterback at this moment?" And you know what? He was right. Because here's the thing about Shedeur that gets lost in all this noise. The numbers weren't perfect. 10 interceptions, some big mistakes, but let's be real. This kid had 0 first-team reps before Week 11. 0. And he still went out there and gave Cleveland something they hadn't had in years, a reason to believe.
Well, we've been asking the question, and Shiggity just answered it for us, as he is officially back in number 2. SS12 is gone. SS2 is back, baby. Let's go. Wow, you already know what it is. Big Dog Chico City in the place to be, coming to you live and direct from the middle of the ocean. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, comment, follow, share, hype, and everything else. And we're going to talk about Shedeur in 12 and also moving forward for this. So let me know where you're checking in from. You already know what it is. Big Dog Chico, tap in. We got a major update out of Cleveland. Shedeur Sanders is going back to his number 2. I know my comments after I saw the other player take number 2 during training camp this season, during the preseason. I was like, dog, why you get number 2, dog? Leave that open for Shedeur. I was like, he that for Shedeur, dog. DeAndre Carter, I think his name was. He had the number 2. And Shedeur Sanders, like most football players, dog, when you're not wearing your number, it just doesn't feel right to you. You know, you got to get used to it. A lot of people are like, oh, what? It's just a number. It's just, well, it can just be just a number, but it's not just the number to football players. Trust me, dog. It's a thing out there. And Shedeur, you saw him throw some interceptions this year, even in the Pro Bowl game, where when Shedeur threw the interception, he was like, man, these things are just not me, man. It's just not me. And it's just like a feeling you have when you're wearing a different number or something like that. So I'd rather take my chances in going back to the number that I feel more comfortable in than moving forward with a number that was given to me. And I haven't felt like myself. I've had, you know, just interceptions come out of nowhere. Just I throw a perfect pass and it bounce off a guy's hand and end up as an interception. That's something that number 12 would do, it seems like. I'm going back to my number. Give me my number 2 back and I'll ride with that.
Jimmy Haslam, not so much for Deshaun Watson, because I'm with you guys. It's just hard to believe that he'll ever be that guy. Even that guy you point out in 2020, that last year in Houston,
yeah.
They went 4-12 that year, yeah. but he led the league in passing yards. Well, it was starting to teeter already, and then he goes to Cleveland, and his records in Cleveland were 3-3. He had a 5-1 stretch, and then 1-6.
Okay, so now it's the 2026 offseason. New head coach comes in, Todd Monken, a guy who knows offense, who's called plays for championship-level teams, who everyone in the NFL respects. You'd think the conversation would be simple, right? Shedeur Sanders, he's your guy. Build around him. Give him the weapons. Let him cook. Instead, the Browns go to the NFL owners' meetings in Phoenix, and their new head coach, Todd Monken, tells NFL Network they haven't gotten that far yet in naming a starter. Hasn't gotten that far yet for a kid who finished the season as your starter, who won his last 2 games, who is 24 years old and signed for 3 more seasons. But wait, it gets worse. NFL Network insider Mike Garafolo drops a bomb. He reports that if the season started right now, Deshaun Watson would be the starter, not Shedeur. Deshaun Watson, a man who has played exactly 19 games in 5 years, a man who tore his Achilles not once, but twice, a man who hasn't taken a meaningful snap since October 2024, a man who cost this franchise $230 million guaranteed, money the owner, Jimmy Haslam, has publicly called a big swing and a miss. And that is the guy they're considering over Shedeur. Former NFL players broke it down perfectly. They said, peak for peak, Watson was special. The photographic memory, the ability to dissect a defense in a post-game press conference like a professor. That version of Deshaun Watson was real, but that was 2020, 6 years ago. 2 Achilles ruptures later, that version of Watson may be gone forever, and deep down, everybody in that building knows it. So why is this happening? Why would the Browns even consider going back to Watson? One word: Money. Jimmy Haslam is sitting on $230 million in guaranteed contracts. He needs Watson to work. Not for the team, for his own ego, for his own legacy as an owner. That press conference where Haslam said Watson has a great chance with a fresh start, that wasn't about football. That was a billionaire trying to convince himself he didn't just make the worst contract decision in NFL history. But here's what the mainstream media is not telling you. Behind the scenes, the picture is completely different. Zac Jackson of The Athletic, one of the most plugged-in Browns reporters in the business, came out and said straight up, "I feel stronger than ever that Sanders, not Watson, is the favorite to win the starting job."
I do have a question for the Browns, whether it's for the OC final moments of the game. Shedeur takes that team all the way down. They score a touchdown. You're down by 2. You have to go for a 2-point conversion to tie it up. Why take Shedeur off the field? I think they did a direct snap and they tried to do a double reverse. And I think Quinshon Junkins had the ball in his hand. But why get tricky at that moment in the game? Just let your young QB, have a moment and push this game into overtime. I didn't understand that. Just overcomplicating the moment.
Like they let go Joe Flacco. You know what I'm saying? They didn't give Dylan Gabriel the job back. So they seen something in Shedeur.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So got to get him a fair shot.
I hope you're right.
He gonna get a fair shot. He gonna get a lot of ops with the ones.
Yeah.
This obviously last year he didn't get no reps with the ones. He gonna get a lot of reps with the ones this year. So he gonna get a fair shot, man. You can hear Monken talking about him. He in the building. He this. He woo. Gabriel, he ain't really been in the building like that. I ain't really got nothing to say about him.
He said the job is Sanders to lose. He said Cleveland may only need Shedeur to play league average quarterback to finally pull the plug on the Watson era completely. And there's more. Todd Monken himself, the new head coach, has described Shedeur as having elite playmaking ability. Elite! His words. Not a fan, not a podcast host, the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. And sources close to the team say Shedeur has been in that building constantly since Monken got hired, grinding, studying, preparing. While Watson's name is generating buzz in press conferences, Shedeur is putting in the work. And there's another layer to this that nobody is talking about, the locker room. The Browns are a young team. They're rebuilding. And from everything coming out of Cleveland, the young players, the core of this team's future, they're behind Shedeur Sanders. He's not just a quarterback to them. He's the captain of the young guys, the leader of a new generation in that building. That matters. That matters more than any press conference. Because when training camp starts and those reps start flowing, chemistry follows leadership. And Shedeur already has that. So where does this all go? Here's the reality. Deshaun Watson will probably walk out with the first team in OTAs. The $46 million man gets his shot. Haslam needs to be able to look himself in the mirror and say he gave Watson every opportunity. But the smart money and the football people all point to the same outcome. By the time training camp ends, those first-team reps are going to start shifting, slowly at first, then all at once, because that's how it works. You watch the tape, you count the mistakes, you see who's moving the offense and who's standing still. And if Shedeur Sanders does what everyone close to the situation believes he will, he walks into Week 1 of 2026 as the Cleveland Browns' starting quarterback. He's also made it official. He's switching from jersey number 12 to number 2, his Colorado number, the number he wore when he was building his legend. That's not just a jersey change, that's a statement. That's a young man telling the world Season 2 starts now, and this time, I'm ready. The Browns better get him a real wide receiver. They better protect him with that offensive line, because if they surround Shedeur Sanders with actual weapons, this team could shock the entire AFC. But if they fumble this, if they go back to Watson and waste another year, then Cleveland isn't just a bad football team. They're an organization that had their franchise quarterback right in front of them, and they chose ego over excellence. Here's my final take. Shedeur Sanders was never their plan A. He was never their plan B. He was their plan D, the guy they turned to when everything else fell apart. And he still delivered. He still competed. He still grew. He still gave a broken franchise something real to hold on to. The Browns didn't hand him anything, and he's still the most compelling quarterback story in the entire NFL right now. That is not a guy you push to the back of the line. That is not a guy you use as a bargaining chip for your owner's pride. That is a guy you build around. The question is, will Cleveland see it before it's too late? Or will Shedeur Sanders become the one that got away? We'll find out when those OTAs start, and trust me, we will be covering every single development right here on this channel. So if you are not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button right now, because this Browns quarterback story is only getting bigger, louder, and more explosive from here. Ring that bell so you don't miss a single update. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Shedeur wins the starting job, or does Cleveland break his heart again? Let's talk about it. I'll see you in the next one.